Hey, what's up everybody? Tony here, and welcome back to another episode of TTBurger Game Reviews, and I hope you all had a wonderful and happy Thanksgiving and stuff, and it's now the month of December, and we have a month left until the year 2020, which surprisingly crazy that 2019 is already almost over very fast. For today's episode, we're going to be looking at it's going to be another multi-part review, and we're going to talk about the character Duke Nukem. Now, I'm sure those of you who all grew up in the 90s that know who Duke Nukem was. He started off as a side-scroller 2D shooter, I like MS-DOS and stuff like that, and then ever since Duke Nukem 3D came along, it became a first-person shooter and stuff, and third-person shooter or whatever and stuff, and Duke Nukem was everywhere, mainly on the PC, the PlayStation, the Nintendo 64, the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance and stuff, and a lot of portable consoles, and of course the dreaded Duke Nukem Forever and stuff too, was on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, which we will not be talking about because we're going to pretend that game does not exist. And today we're going to be looking at some Duke Nukem games. We're going to be looking at 3 of the Duke Nukem games on the PlayStation. Part 1, we're going to look at Duke Nukem Total Meltdown. Part 2, Duke Nukem Time to Kill. And Part 3, we're going to look at Duke Nukem Land of the Babes. Now we got a lot to talk about here. Let's get started with Part 1, Duke Nukem Total Meltdown. For the PlayStation, this is actually the PlayStation Edition version of Duke Nukem 3D and stuff, and we'll talk about that in a little bit here. Now, getting started here, starting with Duke Nukem Total Meltdown, like I already mentioned, it's the PlayStation version of Duke Nukem 3D, and for the most part, Duke Nukem 3D is a fun game and stuff. But unfortunately, the PlayStation version here is a mediocre version that has problems with it that should have been fixed, and it really hampers this version pretty badly here. But we'll talk about that later on. Now for the story here, the story is basically your run-of-the-mill hero who's trying to save the world from aliens and stuff like that and such, and it's basically what the story is. You basically have 4 episodes, 3 of them are in the PC version, and you have 1 exclusive here to the PlayStation version. You have LA Meltdown, which is obviously like a Los Angeles being under attack and stuff by the aliens. Lunar Apocalypse, which is like what takes place in space. Shrapnel City, which is kind of like a casino like Las Vegas one. And then we have Plug and Pray, which is like a ancient tomb one, which is the PlayStation version. And the story, like, that's pretty much how just the story is. Like, that basically says in the manual that you ought to take to stop the aliens. That's basically what the story is. It's just, there's not much story to it, there are no cutscenes in it, but this is one of the games that shows that you don't need cutscenes to tell a story and stuff, and it works. For the game's presentation, though, let's talk about the game's presentation here. Like, it looks good for one of the first 3D first-person shooters and stuff, next to Doom and Wolfenstein 3D, but I will admit though that the PlayStation version has a horrible framing. Like the framing can get really bad and can bog down when it shouldn't be bogging down, and it really affects the graphics and stuff. I mean, the framing can even be made worse if you mess around with the settings, like with the filtering and stuff like that and other things too. You mess around with the settings, you get a worse framing. So it's best to keep the settings the way they are. And some of the backgrounds have very dark lighting, to the point you can't see, you have to mess around with your brightness on your TV and stuff, and I don't really like that because I know this was a port from a PC, but they could have done more with the graphics here, especially fix up that awful frame rate. Now for the sound is the best part. Duke Nukem was voiced by John St. John, and his one-liners are fantastic when he says, "Hail to the king, baby, come get some, let's rock," and rock and roll and stuff like that, and lock and load and whatever, and like groovy and such. He has all those one-liners he says throughout the game and stuff, and it adds character to Duke Nukem, because without John St. John, Duke Nukem wouldn't have been as popular as he is with his voice and stuff. The music is awesome. I love the music. Now these are remix tracks from the PC version, and I think they are better than the original PC tracks. It's just the PC version had good music, but this is better stuff. I mean, I think this is music that should have been officially from the beginning and stuff. So sound, definitely awesome. Love it. Now for the gameplay, it does have a lot of problems, but we'll talk about the bads in a little bit. We'll talk about the goods here. But first off, like, the good parts, like I said, once again, you have 4 episodes to choose from, all with their own theme. You have lots of cool guns to find, like with your shotgun, your RPG, your Devastator, your freeze thrower, your shrinker, and like and more like a lot of cool fancy looking weapons and stuff too. And there's a lot of secret rooms and islands to find too. And you can interact with objects in a level. Like if you can go to the bathroom to refill your health. You can drink water from a fire hydrant or a water fountain and stuff. And you can interact with a lot of stuff in the levels too, and Duke will comment on it stuff, and like I already mentioned, instant ways to refill your health too, and more. It's like there is some fun to be had here, but the bad series I talk about, the difficulty in this version can be very unforgiving, and where one mistake you make can kill you no matter what. And this is mainly due to the controls. The controls are awful. I mean, when you're shooting, when you move and shoot is fine, but just that you have to use the shoulder buttons to look up and down to aim your weapon, and to jump and duck, and to strip use these square buttons and stuff too, and just that the controls are just terrible. I mean, the controls are just awful. I mean, there could have been more care and effort to go into this. I mean, like if you look at how Doom turned out on the PlayStation, sure, like it was a little weird how you had to press the triangle button to shoot and stuff and such, but still, it still worked in its own way. I mean, like, I don't know why they couldn't just have a control scheme similar to how Doom was and stuff, because that would have been fine, but unfortunately that wasn't the case here at all. And of course, like, there are a lot of cheap deaths in this game, from explosions and enemies sticking up on you and things just killing you for no reason and stuff, and there's just a lot of cheap deaths here, especially in the last episode, which is, I'll talk about that later on. And it's very easy to miss secret rooms and areas like that, which have weapons and power-ups too, if you're not good at this game. I mean, sure, even if you are good, it's hard to find all the secret stuff. It's really hard. And the Plug and Pray episode, which is exclusive episode to the PlayStation version, is the worst episode of the bunch, due to a lot of cheap deaths and deadheads and death traps, which was a combination of the whole game. And it just feels kind of boring to me. I mean, I don't mind going in ancient ruins and like tombs that. I mean, that's fine. But here, the level just feels boring. So like that Duke doesn't even talk much in this one, and just that a lot of those rooms look the same and feel kind of out of place with the enemies and stuff. It just seems kind of drab and boring. It could have been better off without this thing. And of course, I'll forget to mention the save system. I don't know why, but whenever you save a game, you have to. It takes up to like 3 or 4 or 5 blocks, or 6 or 7 blocks or so to save a game. Which is weird how like sometimes it ranges from 3 and then sometimes it's 5 and 7. I don't know why it ranges around at a different order and stuff. It just seems really weird that it does that. I mean, why can't they just have like one save file, or if it's 3, just keep it 3 the whole time? So it just doesn't make any sense at all. So like that is a problem there. And for multiplayer, you can't do to any head-to-head stuff that you have to like you need a system link to hook up 2 PlayStations to play multiplayer, which is the same thing what happened with Doom and stuff too, which I didn't really get that stuff. So of course there's no footage from the multiplayer here. So yeah, but this game could have been better. I mean, it has its goods, there's a lot of there are goods to it, but it's hampered by all the problems, like with the horrible frame rate and the controls and the cheap deaths and stuff like that. And it's just pretty blah. I mean, like, it's just, yeah, the PC version was good and stuff like that, but just that the PlayStation version here, it could have been good as well, if just as good if it didn't have the problems. So, what's my final verdict here? If you need to fix Duke Nukem 3D on the PlayStation, it's the only version you can get, then definitely pick it up and stuff. Like, if you can find it on the PC, you're better off, or on the Saturn, or so, you're better off getting it. But if you want your fix of Duke Nukem 3D on the PlayStation, this is the best thing for you. Now, due to the complaints I have this game, I'm not going to be giving it a high score at all. I'm going to be giving it a low score here. The score I can probably give it is probably a 4.5 out of 10. That's basically the best score I can give it, because yeah, it's just basically the best score I can give it, because all those problems and such. I mean, I'm sorry to sound a little biased here, but just that there could have been so much more they could have done with this version. So yeah, like if you can find it and you have no other choice but to play the PlayStation version, then pick it up. There's still some fun to be having there. Just be forewarned, all those problems with the frame rate and everything else and stuff. It may turn you off and stuff. So just approach this with caution. That's basically what I'm gonna say. And that's pretty much it for this episode. Stay tuned for part 2. We're gonna look at Duke Nukem Time to Kill, which was the first PlayStation exclusive Duke Nukem game. And how does it fare compared to Duke Nukem Total Meltdown? Well, you'll have to find out in the next part. And that's pretty much all I gotta say. Those of you who enjoy the video, feel free to subscribe, like the video, comment down below. Don't forget to join my Discord group, TTBurger Game Reviews, because we're always looking for more people to join. That's pretty much all I gotta say. This is Tony. Peace out. Have a great day, and see you all in part 2.